Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I am greeting you in the universal greeting of peace with blessings. Wherever you may be in the world, I pray that you are well. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It is amazing to have all of our listeners and our audience here today. Before I go any further with the topic of today and the discussion today, I'd like to speak to you a little bit about our amazing IIU. So International Internship University, IIU, is a leading virtual education system and a global brand confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well-reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all of the young learners of the globe. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit sir, a committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. I am honored to be a part of IIU, to be the honorary professor of education in IIU, and honored to be here to present to you a topic today that is passionate to me, and I know is passionate to many across the globe. We're talking today about success for our students and the mindset for success for our students. A very, very important topic, especially because we know our students of today are going through so much mentally, emotionally, physically, some of them, and yet we expect them to still excel. And I ask you, success for our students, who defines that? Who defines the success for the student? Does the student define their own success? Does the educator define success for a student based on a result in a test or an examination? Or does a parent define the success for the child? So these are questions which I will not answer, but these are questions to raise awareness. Questions that I think everyone out there needs to pose and understand, especially if you are somebody who's a parent to a child in a school or education system, if you're an educator, if you are the student yourself. I want you to answer that for you. Who determines your success? And what defines your success? Who defines your success? So today we're talking about mindset of a successful student. I just wanted to reiterate, okay, a few, I think, sessions prior to me coming on today, we did have a 3-part series on mindset. And it was mind-blowing. Even I learned a lot from it, from our Honorable Queen Elizabeth Lucas. I think it was phenomenal. So if you, once you are finished with listening to me, please go back there if you want to learn more about mindset in itself. Today, though, I'm focusing on the student and success of the mindset of a student. And the reason I'm focusing on that is because the mind is so crucial to your success. So the mindset is crucial to your successful role you play in your own life. And as a student, you are still determining your life. You're still determining your persona. You're still determining your personality. You're determining everything still about you. It's evolving. And yet success is not cleared for you. Why? Your mindset is all over the place. Mindset is supposed to be either of growth of nature or fixed nature. And I'm going to speak on that today. And so you will determine what resonates with you, which are you, and whether you want to alter what you're sitting at or whether you want to see any differences in your life or not. So what is this mindset that I'm talking about of a successful student? There are fantastic articles all over the place that you could Google, you could read off, you could find podcasts, etc. I found a very, very interesting article by Berkeley. And a lot of what I'm going to share for you today is based firstly on my own life's experiences, what altered my mindset to become what it is, what it was, what it is, and what I found in research material as well. So what I'm going to share with you today is not just based on theory. It's not just based off a textbook. It's not just based off Google. It's based off what I know works and what can alter to be a positive change for you in your mindset for your success. What is this mindset of a successful student? Theoretically, students who have a growth mindset, they believe that they can develop whatever talents they have and they can improve whatever those are over a specific time frame. And as time evolves, they know they might not be natural at whatever they're going through, whatever they're experiencing. They might not be natural at a specific talent either. But these students know that if they work really hard enough, then they can and they will get better at what they would like to achieve. So when students have this growth mindset, they have a sort of a passion for learning. Children who kind of understand that the brain gets smarter with time, can get smarter with time, who have this growth mindset, they tend to do better in school. Why? Because the perspective on things for them is already internal and empowering. They have this internal empowering perspective on what learning means. What does it mean for them? How does it alter them? What do they feel as they go through the process? And they focus on improving their skill of learning continuously. So you see the effort is more built on achieving better in their abilities, even something that they might initially fail at. They see that failure as a natural part of a learning process. They don't see it as a complete negative. They see the positive in the negative. So I spoke now of a kind of definition of growth mindset because there are two main types of mindsets. One can see the challenges as the opportunities of growth, and the other tries to avoid any challenge altogether. And if you want to increase your success chances, then you have to develop your growth mindset. I want to take, like I said, myself as an example. So on average, let's say approximately 15 years ago, if you had to come to me and you had to say to me that 15 years later, which is today, I'm going to be holding multiple honorary doctorates. You're going to say to me back then that today, 15 years later, I will be writing articles for magazines and ebooks. You will say to me that I will be lecturing across the globe. I will be an international speaker. I will be changing lives internationally. I will be an educationist globally. And if you told me all of this back then, I would have said to you that you are really crazy. You were absolutely crazy. Because back then, I was merely finding myself in a space, in a job as a bank consultant, between jobs, trying to assist in a legal company as well. Whatever I was earning, I was getting by with, still trying to figure me out. I had no extra money. I had no connections. I was just getting by. I had no information on how to get me from where I was then to now. But in hindsight, if I have to think back and introspect, what was the one thing I had back then that got me to be me today? I had the growth mindset. I did not wish to merely sit in one position, whether it be occupational, whether it be physical, whether it be mental. I want to just keep growing. I wanted to keep learning. I've always been that way. So I had this growth mindset. That is why 15 years later, today, by God's grace, I have achieved multiple things. And I pray to God that I will continue to achieve, because like I always say, the accolades, etc., they are not to show off about. They're not making me extra powerful or superior to anyone else. They're merely my knowledge base. And they're my knowledge base from which I will give off to build and to try and help humanity. No matter which person you may be, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what your race, what your culture, no matter whatever it is, if I have the knowledge, I will be able to help you. If I don't have the knowledge, then I will seek out the knowledge to grow myself in learning that specific field. So the one thing I had 15 years ago that I have today still is this growth mindset. And why do I say it's important? because it's not just a system. It is actually your basic ability for you to learn that you can develop yourself, that you can improve yourself through absolute dedication, through hard work. And it's not so much that the belief has got some kind of a magical antidote that it just happens. No, it takes your hard work, it takes your effort. And without this growth mindset, you're not going to put in any effort to make the difference in your life. And then you're going to be stuck. And with the growth mindset, you can break through that kind of what is called the stuckness that you find yourself in. Because all of us desire some form of positive result in our life, right? Especially when you're an aspiring student. You want to actually develop you. You want to fulfill the inner desire that you have to be successful, whatever that definition is for you. Whether it's at work also, whether it's in your relationships also, in whatever aspect it is of your life, you want to achieve the result that you desire. That takes hard work. That takes dedication. That takes you having this growth mindset. So let me ask you, do you have this growth mindset? Are you resonating with some of the things that I'm saying so far? Do you believe that maybe you were born and you were raised with this fixed set of skills and abilities, and you suddenly believe that from birth, you will just stay that way with those beliefs and with those that IQ and that knowledge base until for your entire life? Or do you believe that maybe your ideas and beliefs are ever evolving, and that you can learn new skills even with your work as you keep studying, and that you might learn from everything? You'll gain more wisdom and you'll get intelligence that will grow with each new experience in your life. So if you said yes to the first question, where you feel that whatever you are learning is just going to keep you fixed in that specific space, and you're going to be happy with that until for your entire life because you don't wish to encounter any challenges? Or are you seeing the second one, where you want to actually experience the challenges because you want to develop yourself through them? Which one are you seeing yourself in? If it was the first one, then you have the fixed mindset. If it was the second one, then you have the growth mindset. If you are sitting with the fixed mindset, there is nothing wrong with you. You are still okay. And if you have the sudden bolt within you while listening to me, or something has triggered within you that is telling you that you wish to grow yourself, to have the growth mindset, then it is possible. So if you're sitting with the fixed mindset, it's not wrong. There's no wrong and right. There's us learning and developing. So you can alter that fixed mindset to become the growth mindset. If you have this fixed mindset, you will find that you will continuously try to shy away from challenges because you're fearing the sense of embarrassment, and you don't want that. You don't want to be humiliated because you don't know how to confront the challenge. So you shy away from it, you avoid it. And this can actually become a problem for you if you're seeing yourself in that way, because you tend to have the fear of making mistakes. And yet your avoidance of the challenges, your avoidance of any new experience is actually you avoiding your growth. You don't know that if you accept the challenge and you work through it, you might develop and grow yourself and improve yourself in ways that you never knew you could. And it's possible. It is possible. There is nothing that's not possible, especially when it comes to education and you growing yourself for success. If you have this growth mindset, then you're somebody who enjoys these challenges, and you actually enjoy the risk now and again because you feel that I can grow through this. I can learn extra things through this. I can grow myself and learn a better skill. You're learning and developing yourself as it goes through time. Now, I want to share with you a little bit. I said to you earlier that if you have the fixed mindset, that it's not something so constrained, it's not something so bad, and that it can be changed. It can alter from fixed to becoming growth mindset, and you can achieve more. You can develop yourself, to see yourself in a better way, in a better light, to accept whatever challenges come your way, to see things differently, to grow yourself and study more and do more work, put more effort into stuff. You can. And I want to talk about a few things or ways in which this can happen. Again, most of these I found worked for me. And they were hard lessons. They were hard lessons because I had to feel it. I had to feel it to know that a change was required. I had to become aware of the pain. I had to become aware of I didn't like where I was. I had to become aware that this stuckness of mine was making me feel not so good, was making me feel unwelcome to me. And I needed to start to make changes to alter that. And these were a few things that I know worked for me. And I'm sure that if you implement them in your life, they will work for you as well. So the number one thing I have found with people, even my own clients, the students I counsel, therapists, the therapy I give to, especially students, for some reason, they do not wish to ever have a flaw. There must be nothing wrong with them. And you must not find the flaw in them either. And I'm here to say to you, acknowledge your flaw. Embrace the imperfection that you have within you. Stop fighting that, because it is when you acknowledge the flaws that are within you that you will be able to understand the flaw a little better, and you will learn that if it's a flaw that's detrimental to you or negative and you wish to change it to become a positive, it is acceptance of that flaw that will allow you to make the change from a negative to a positive. And that's for the betterment of you. So embrace and acknowledge that you have this flaw. We all have flaws. None of us are perfect. I have flaws. I'm sure I have many flaws. Some of us have some kind of weird traits that are good. Sometimes we can laugh at them. But these are our imperfections. And that imperfection is what makes you unique. It doesn't make you separate. Don't create barriers that are not there. So accept it. Accept your flaws. Embrace you for being you. And then become aware of everything about you so that you know if you need to change or alter something, what is it that is required? What do you need to do? What is it about you? What is that negative that you need to convert into a positive? That is going to pose some challenges, right? How do you face these challenges that are going to come your way? You're going to face the challenge bravely, because you can. If you find yourself within a challenging space, you're going to obviously decide fight or flight mode. What are you going to do? But you're going to do something because you don't wish to be harmed, right? The same applies to you in your challenges of your studying. The same applies to you in your challenges of your work, of your home, whatever it is, your relationships. Understand that if you are going to be terrified to face the challenge and try and avoid it, the challenge is still going to be there. So you need to face it knowing that you can get through the challenge. So take the time to stop. Take a 2-second stop and reframe the entire situation that you are facing in your mind. Reframe it and consider then your challenge as an opportunity. Whatever the difficulty is, reframe it and say to yourself, this is not a difficulty. This is my opportunity. And that alone makes the difference, because you're then slightly shifting your perspective to make things easier for you to engage in the challenge. And remember, each challenge or the opportunity is going to invite you to become better. It's going to invite you to a new experience. It's going to invite you perhaps to new skills about you don't know. So don't shun it. Face the challenges and face them bravely with the reframing in mind. Try different tactics. As a life coach, I can tell you there are many, many tactics for how to explore your parts, for how to develop your new skills, for learning how to interact with new people, how to perhaps navigate through these circumstances. But the whole idea is for this to first take its first breath in your mind. I am going to do this. I am going to face my challenge bravely. I am going to actually alter this and make it my opportunity to grow myself. It starts with your mind. It starts from within you. And it's exciting. It's new. And if you take the same attitude to any crisis that you're going to encounter, it will show you that you're going to discover abilities about what you can and can't do that you'd never thought you possessed before. That brings me to a very, very important point. This, again, something I had to learn for myself, which I teach very often. And I just spoke to you now about reframing. So instead of saying to you, this is something so difficult, tell yourself, this is not so difficult. It is my opportunity. This brings me to my next point of you having to pay attention and being aware of whatever words and thoughts you have about what you are going through in your mind. Your self-talk is so crucial for how you get through anything. So start to pay attention to the words that you speak, especially those words in your mind. If your words are dark or if they're low, the results are going to possibly be the same. So watch yourself and listen to what you are saying and thinking, because you have to be your own guide. I tell anybody this. If you are sitting in front of me, I can say and teach and guide and coach you as much as I want to. But if you are not going to actually implement changes for you within you, you're not going to face and see differences in yourself. And the number one key factor is you. You need to be very honest with who you are, what you're saying, what you're thinking. Only you know that. You can give up a perception to the world of somebody who's just knowing and is happy and is all good. And yet within you, you are a crisis. You are a mess. Why? Because I need to put on this facade for the world to accept me. But yet within me, I am so pained. What do you keep telling yourself? What does your mind say to itself about that? Are you telling yourself that you're going to be okay? Or are you telling yourself, oh, I'm so tired of this facade? You are acknowledging you in this facade mode. So be careful the words that you speak to yourself. Be careful the thoughts you resonate within you, because that is you. And you have to replace and reframe. Replace the negative thoughts with positive ones to build and have a better growth mindset. Replace judgment with acceptance. Replace the hate that you might feel with some form of compassion. If you are disrespecting yourself with your words, and if you are disrespecting yourself with your own thoughts, and if you are for some reason lowering your own standards by your own words, then the outcome of your decisions is going to be reflecting exactly that. So rather intend right now, make your firm intention to yourself and say to yourself, I intend to think higher thoughts and hold myself accountable to these higher thoughts because I respect myself, because my mindset is positive, because I have the growth mindset to make the changes necessary to grow myself, to develop myself and be the best that I can be. I owe it to myself. As a student, if you're watching this, say this to yourself, I owe it to myself to fulfill my desire of success in what I wish to accomplish. And I can and I will. This kind of terminology and wording that you talk to yourself will attain that success. Do not bring yourself down. Take yourself higher, because you are meant to soar. The other important fact, again, something that I learned I'm still learning the hard way. Let's stop trying to get the validation from other people all the time. Let's stop trying to seek the approval from others all the time, because approval from other people constantly can actually alter your successful mindset. Because then you start to focus more on what they want of you, what they wish for you. Hence my questioning at the beginning of today's session. So we always want to, of course, see people be proud of us. When your report is in your hand or your report card is in your hand, you are obviously wanting to make sure whoever is reading that, whether it's your guardian, your parent, whomever it is proud of you. But I am saying to you as a student, you as a student must always be proud of you too. You need to have an understanding of this concept of self-acceptance. You have to have an understanding of this concept of self-approval. You as a student must approve of you as a self. Approve of you, approve of your best effort, approve of you and your result. Accept what you are, accept what efforts you have put in, accept what your results are, and learn to trust in yourself that if I'm not happy with it now, then I'm going to give it my extra effort so that I can have it better later on. Failure is just you having to learn to grow through it and become better. So whilst we might seek other people to be proud of us and we want to impress them, please learn firstly to be proud of you. You be proud of you first. Be proud of your efforts that you're putting into your work. Approve of your own efforts and your as a self. Once you start to be aware of these concepts, that I need to be approving me, I need to accept me, I need to impress myself, I need to be happy with my efforts I'm putting in, trust me, you are going to start putting in the 100% effort as opposed to the 50% effort previously. Why? Because you're going to hold yourself accountable to the effort. And you want to tell yourself, I did my best, I gave it my 100%. So talk to yourself in the positiveness and give yourself your own appreciation. Please remember that you as a student must have a mindset that teaches you your purpose. Every one of us here has a purpose. And I'm asking everyone, not just our students out there, people who are working, people at home, are you purpose-driven? Are you somebody who defines yourself by what your purpose is? Do you know your purpose? Are you trying to find what your purpose is in life? If you are somebody trying to find your career, is your career based on what your purpose may be? If you are a student, are you trying to identify your future career with what your purpose may be? So be purpose-driven, because then you become intentional in your purposeness. And that defines you for your self. That defines you for your holistic being. And if you are right now drawing a blank to what I'm saying, then it's still okay. Because all it means is it requires some introspection. It requires for you to go and have a thought process about what are you doing, process things about yourself, and try to underlie what is it about me, where am I going, what would I like to do, and make things become clearer for you so that you can define your purpose. You can define your genius within you that needs to come out. The one thing that is key, absolute key for us to remember, is that we have got to turn whatever the criticism is that we receive into a gift. And I say this because you are going to always in your life, whether it's just as a student now, or whether it is in your workplace, or whether it is in your family, in your home, you will always encounter criticism. People will criticize you and analyze you to find fault within you that you didn't even know you had faults about. The key, though, is for you as you in your awareness of you being who you are, to reframe that criticism, because the purpose of criticism is to make you better. So don't tell yourself, so-and-so has said this about me. I'm a student, I'm trying my best, I'm not a student, but they're always saying I'm not good enough. Let's pause. Their criticism is theirs. I am me. I am going to actually turn their criticism into defining me for a better. If they're saying that, that's okay. It's what they feel, it's what they think. Now analyze it for yourself. Is this really true about me? And if you think that they are right, if you think that you didn't work hard enough on the test that you wrote, and you got a C, even a C plus, but someone is saying you had potential to get an A, that criticism, if you think is correct for you, and you know you didn't give 200% of your effort into studying for that test, then that is your gift. That criticism is your gift. So you need to analyze whatever criticism comes your way and turn it into something that's better for you. Someone else can see what you are doing from a very different perspective. Always remember that. And they will always have some perhaps valuable suggestions for you. It's not always negative. It's not always bad. And if you open yourself up to hearing these suggestions, if you open yourself to being okay with the criticism, then you will be able to develop your growth mindset even better. Because sometimes we need to learn. I am a lifelong learner. I'm going to continuously learn until my demise. And it is the best thing that ever happens is education. Your education about you is key. Your education in your books is also key. Your education about life holistically is key. It's all impacting on your mindset. But how you grow and develop that mindset to actually match into what you want out of life, that is up to you. How you're defining your success based on that mindset, that is up to you. We need to learn, not just from books, not just from the classroom, not just from the university. We don't just have to learn from people and their criticism. We have to learn, yes, from everything around us, life. But the one thing that I really think we can really learn from are mistakes. The mistakes that we make are actually the stepping stones for us. You as a student will continuously make mistakes. Don't think of that mistake as something that is negating your mindset. That mistake needs to become something positive in your mind. You can reframe that. You can refocus. It's up to you to change that. But I ask you now, what about the mistakes about other people? Other people's mistakes that they make around you? Can you see that maybe you can even learn from their mistakes? And when you learn from other people's mistakes, you might even make fewer mistakes for yourself. And this can actually calm your fears for trying new things. It might just be the key aspect for you building your growth mindset, because you have this fear of making a mistake. I'm scared that if I try something new now, I'm going to make a mistake. But if you suddenly find that someone else made a mistake and grew through that, that mistake that somebody else's is your growth. And that might push you to actually be okay. That leads me to my one point now, that it's okay to not be okay. And it's okay to say to yourself, I can't do this right now. Don't over push and overexert you. Learn at your capacity that makes you successful in whatever task you are compiling or doing or trying to achieve. Because when you're struggling with the task, you need to remind yourself that you are not a master of that task just yet. You're still learning, you're still developing, you're still trying to grow through it. But if you stick with it, if you stick with the task and you keep on at it, then with time and with practice, you will lead yourself to improvement and you will eventually lead to success. And that is what you're looking for in your mindset, especially as a student. When you're struggling with anything, whether it's a subject, whether it's something you have to do, whether it's your practical, you need to take the step back and tell yourself, I don't know this yet. I'm not a master of the subject. I'm still learning. And that is okay. It's okay to be I need to be okay with, I'm not okay with this right now. But the key is to keep going. The key is to not stop learning. The key is to persevere. Your perseverance is your success. Your perseverance is your improvement. Your perseverance is your growth. Your perseverance is going to become you reaching your fullest potential. And that is going to be your authentic you, your true you, your purposely divine you. And that's what's key. Because when you have to look from a psychological perspective at what mindsets are about, it's actually about all of us working together to help, especially our students, succeed, right? But we know, as I said before, students are facing challenges daily. And what do we have to do? We need to equip our students to make them understand that their minds are their key. Their minds are their key for them to effect changes to become successful, no matter what the challenges may be. The saddest thing for me, I have found, is many of the students I have seen, even at the schools, are facing challenges that are not theirs. Our students out there are facing challenges that are home-driven, financial-driven. That's not their burden to bear, but they're facing it. Yet they're still coming to get the education. And that for me is what I focus on. And I say to them, focus on that. Focus on that and let the adult deal with the adult world right now. So when our students are facing these challenges, it is really offsetting their mindset to keep the studying as the goal, because they're feeling this sense of, I don't wish to burden my mom and dad anymore. I don't wish to be a burden with me coming to school and they can't pay my fees anymore, or they can't pay for my transport anymore. These are things that do happen in the mind of your child. They listen to your conversations that you have at home. They're sponges. And it alters their mindset when they know that something that they might be doing is what's creating the tension at home. Be aware. As a parent, as an educator, be aware. I want to conclude by saying just a few things. We know that psychologists feel that mindsets are literally, they will tell you that it's an attitude, it's a belief, it's a perception about yourself and your perception about other people and the environment that you're in. And the one thing I want to say to every student out there, even if you are somebody who's working or in a relationship, or you have issues at home, if you have the mindset issues for success, literally, there is a beautiful, beautiful concept that I learned. It's called the GPS concept. The G stands for growth. The P stands for purpose. And the S stands for social. I'll say it again. GPS. G for growth, P for purpose, and S for social. The point of this GPS is not that humans can persevere through these challenges of negative life situations only, but it helps them to navigate themselves literally and how to overcome these challenges, what attitudes are required from a social perspective, purpose perspective, growth perspective. So like you would use your GPS to find your directions wherever you may be going, this is your internal GPS system. Get in touch with it. Get in touch with your own GPS system. So rather than looking for it outside of you, go inward. Know what your internal GPS is all about. Know what makes up your GPS system, what tools are still required for you to overcome life's common challenges. Not just the difficult ones, the common ones. And then use your own GPS system to focus on your goals, your growth, your purpose, your social. your GPS system. It affects you. It affects you. So remember, as much as we spoke about the student and the mindset and the success today, what exactly are we saying? Your mindset is crucial for your success. And I'm not just talking to a student in a classroom. Every single one of us in life is a student of life. You are a student of life as you are listening to me right now, no matter what your age group is. And in your being the student of life, you have got to attain the success in your mindset before you can ever attain success any other way. Remember this, because it is so key. It is so key for you to be this learner of yourself. It is so key for you to be the learner of what's around you. Ask yourself right now, what role am I playing? Am I just existing, or am I living? Am I existing or am I living? What is it about me that I wish to alter? What is it about me that I'm really not happy with right now? Why do I keep telling myself all of these negative things when I do so much for so many people? Why do I keep putting myself down? And yet I shouldn't be doing that because I know me better. I'm talking to you for you. Ask yourself, are you someone who's sitting there time and time again, who's continuously giving, continuously doing their best, and yet not getting the acknowledgement? You're not getting the thank you. You're doing so much, and yet you sit there and you say to yourself, I cannot believe I'm not appreciated for everything I'm doing. I appreciate you for what you are doing, but I want to ask you, do you appreciate you for the fact that you are able to do what you are doing? Do you give thanks to your Creator that He has given you this ability to do whatever you have done? So are you giving your appreciation to your Creator first and acknowledging where you're coming from, where your strengths are coming from, even where your weaknesses come from? And by that, I mean gratitude. Gratitude is key for your success in your mind. Gratitude is key for your success in your life. Gratitude is key for you to be you in whatever role you play. So as you are listening to me right now, I want you to take one thing from today. Whatever it is from the beginning right up until the time I will finish shortly. What is the one thing that you are taking away from this session today that is going to impact your life positively? And I'm not talking about just a word. I'm talking about what are you taking away from me that is going to resonate with you, that is going to impact you, that you are going to try to implement to offset the negative mindset you may have into a positive growth mindset to develop you. What is that one thing that you're going to alter? Are you going to perhaps acknowledge and embrace an imperfection you have? Are you going to acknowledge and embrace that you have some flaws and embrace those flaws because they are unique to you, and then assess and become aware of whether those flaws are bad for you and try and change them? Are you going to pay attention to your words? Are you going to pay more attention to your thoughts? Are you going to pay more attention to your self-lingo, your self-language? What are you saying to yourself continuously? Are you even appreciating you for you? Are you going to stop looking outside for validation? Are you going to start to self-accept? Are you going to start to learn what this concept of self-love is? Are you going to learn more about approving of you as a self, so self-approval? Are you going to go through this? Are you going to learn how you need to find your purpose? Are you going to perhaps define your purpose now in a different way based on what you're going to think about yourself when you do the introspection? You need to learn that we cannot pretend to be what we're not. That is key. It's key to your success, and it's key to you attaining your passion for success. Do not try to become what you're not, because when you try to do this, you're actually disrespecting yourself. When you try to, create a facade out there about who you might think you are, but you're not, it doesn't help you in any way. If anything, it creates more tension and stress within you, because it's you living a lie. You need to actually respect yourself more. Because when you do that, when you actually show off something that's not authentic about you, then it diminishes what you are trying to offer anyone. So try and become truly authentic in your being. Try and become truly authentic in what you are wanting people to perceive. We're not saying their perception is validation for you, no. But your perception of you has to be what is outward as well. So your authenticity with you within, what must come out, it must be without, on the outside. That is a process in itself. Are you going to take from today's session some points to try and align yourself with that perception of yourself that needs work? How do I find my authentic me? How do I become more authentic in my being? This process requires a lot of inner work. And I'll tell you now that once you actually try, and once you start to drive yourself to pursue goals that are true unto yourself, you will actually find your growth mindset excels levels upon level upon level. I want to pause merely to say one thing. I was an only child growing up. And that means you become a people pleaser. That means you constantly want the A's because you want everyone to be constantly happy with you. And I did that. I got the A's, I got the B's sometimes, but I got the A's. But what happens with that is when you get the C, you start to feel, oh my gosh, am I really that bad? Don't do that to yourself. Because the C is still okay. Maybe you had a bad run. Maybe you weren't feeling good. Again, it's the reframing, the refocusing and adjusting. We have to learn how to do this, or otherwise the negatives start to control us. We cannot allow the negatives outside and the negatives of the mindset to determine the success that we wish to have. Those negatives need to be reframed or thrown out. And only you can be honest enough with yourself to determine whether those negatives are there, what you need to do about them. Ultimately, you have to go through your GPS. Like I said to you before, that is key. Your GPS is key for you being you. Your GPS is key for you getting to where you need to go to. And mind you, when you get there, your GPS is going to be required to keep going. So make sure your GPS is just as authentic as you are, because that is your key. Your growth is key to your purpose and to your social life, because you don't wish for people to remember you as a fake. You want people to remember you as authentic, as true, as light, as goodness. And that is you. And if you're a student listening to me today, in a school student, I mean, you still got your entire career to plan out. Plan it out authentically. Plan it out with the trueness within you. But like I said, today's program, today's session was yes, based on the student, was yes, based on the mindset, was yes, based on success of a student. But ultimately, every single one of us is a student. Every single one of us is a student of life. Life continuously throws you a hurdle. Life continuously throws you a lesson. And that lesson most often alters your mindset. How you cope with that alteration, how you cope with the adjustment is key for your success after that. So remember that the ideal for today is that every one of us is the student. You are the student. If you are an educator, you are still a student. If you are a parent, you are still a student. Whoever is watching us in this audience, you are all a student, the student of life. So what lessons is life teaching you, and what are you taking from them? Use the GPS system and define that. Define it for your successful mindset. To every one of our students that are watching, and I'm talking now again to classroom students, I want to just let you know that at no point are you ever alone. In whatever your difficulties or challenges you face, your educators are always there to go to. And I'm sure your guardians and your parents are also there to go to. But even if you feel like none of them are available, there are plenty of places that you can go to. And I'm stressing this now purely because of the highest rate of teen and student suicides that we find, for some reason, especially in the matric year. Please, if you are a student, there are people, there are many of us out here looking to help you. You do not have to go through any challenge by yourself. And there is no challenge that's given to you that you cannot bear. Because you can grow through them, because the challenge is your opportunity. Remember, we are reframing, we're refocusing, we're changing mindset. You can. Your successful mindset is just that. It is your successful mindset. So you are not alone. And your GPS will navigate you to the help that you need for your success. It will always do that, as long as your GPS is authentic to you being authentic. So listen to yourself, please, and be your success first within your mindset, because that is key. It is your mindset, it is your success, and you are the student. So I hope and I pray that as of today's session, there's takeaways that are going to alter you for the positive, that are going to impact you positively, and you are going to change mindsets that are going to make you more successful. I thank you again. I thank IIU. I thank our dear moderator, and I take this opportunity to pray and ask for everyone to please pray for everyone across the world who's having any form of difficulty. We know the challenges. I've had students in the war town areas, in the people that are affected at the earthquake who I've lost. And so we say quiet prayers for everyone across the globe who's having difficult times. And I say to everybody out there, please be safe, please take care, and please cherish every moment, because your moment is your legacy. Thank you so much to everyone again. Thank you for your time and for listening to me. And I pray to see you all again soon. God bless.